Hi guys, and welcome back to the BAM Famalam.
So this week we're going to tell you about 9 things that we didn't know about Australia before we moved here.
Ta-da-da!
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.
Epiphany rising. Got a lot wrong, you see bright as lightning.
So the first thing we didn't ever realise was about the time zones. And that means time zones in Australia. We thought it was just one time in the whole country, but
It absolutely is not.
Since we moved here, we found out each state have their own time zones. Here in Queensland, they don't have daylight savings, so all year it's just the same time. Nothing gets changed, which is lovely.
But for example, if we wanted to call someone in Perth or Melbourne, we would have to double check the time in that state because it could be different. And obviously if we say, oh, I'm going to call you at 4 o'clock for a meeting, then we need to make sure that we're both talking about the same 4 o'clock. It was just something I hadn't thought about. I mean, obviously it's a massive continent, but because it's one country, you don't really think. Number 2 is that you must drive at the speed limit. So coming from Europe, not everybody pays attention to that, and it's very rare that people stay driving at the speed limit. Whereas here, the cops are on you. If you go even say 5 kilometres over, you'll hear about it in the post.
Yes, wherever they can catch you, they will get you.
Yeah, it's a really big thing, and I know that a lot of people who come from abroad get caught out by this because we're not used to the rigidness of it. Rigidity.
Yeah, so definitely check, like make sure you're sort of staying within the speed limits, because over here the police don't have to have warning signs. They don't have to do that yet. No. Or if
And
they do,
won't.
they don't.
Yeah, no, I don't think they actually have to warn you. So, yeah, anyway, it's just something to be aware of. Number 3 is that in moving to an English-speaking language, we really didn't realise how much of a language difference there would be. So there's sometimes when we're talking to someone and they'll just give us an odd look and we have no idea why, and then we find out, months down the line that we've said something peculiar. But it's happened a lot, and there's some things that are just completely different. So even little things like the petrol station being called a servo, it's just something you have to get used to, that it's now a servo.
Yeah, definitely get used to hearing the word esky as well.
Yeah, we do need to do a whole new video on this, so that is coming.
I guess it is.
There's a lot.
A whole lot.
Okay, so one of the other things that surprised us were that liquor licensing laws are very different in Australia. They actually vary from state to state. So what is the law in Queensland is not the law in, say, Victoria. And one of the things that we found strangest was that on Good Friday here in Queensland, the sale of alcohol is prohibited unless you're buying it in a restaurant with a meal. It's just something we've not come across before, and it really threw us.
Yeah, and if anyone's travelling through central Australia, there's certain towns where you can't have alcohol on you at all.
Yeah, in
Not
certain
even in
communities.
Yeah, I don't think you can even have it in the boot of your car or anything. Can you?
No, you can't. So it's something to be aware of. It's something that we've not heard of before.
Yeah.
Be aware of where you're going through, where you're travelling, as to
definitely.
what the law is.
So the next one is Australian history. Coming from UK, we didn't really know much about Australian history, but there is actually a lot more than what people think.
Yeah, we kind of have to be careful what we say on this because it's actually really a sensitive issue. There are certain things like when you go to a sporting event or even a school assembly, they will pay respect to the owners of the land before these kind of events. I feel like we need to get permission from an elder to be able to discuss this and to get our facts correct, because it is such a sensitive issue.
Yeah, it is actually very interesting.
Very interesting, but also you've got to be very careful what you say and do with regards to Aboriginal history.
Another thing we didn't realise until we moved here was the rounding up of money. So here they don't really have very small change.
5 cents is the lowest denomination of money.
Yeah, so sometimes you feel like you're being shortchanged, but you're not really. It's sort of just the dumb way.
It caught us off guard when we first came over and we went into a shop. The item was like $4.99 or something like that. So we paid our $5 and we didn't get change, which we couldn't understand why. And although it wasn't much, we just didn't really understand what was going on. But that's because it's all rounded up and down to the nearest 5 cents. So sometimes you'll pay more, sometimes you'll pay less.
So the next one we have on our list is school year terms. These run from January to December, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's actually super handy because we obviously it was different for us, but when you think about it, the summer holidays is in December and January, so it makes sense, and it kind of it flows nicely to have your school year running from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it's quite nice for the kids because then they get a longer period for Christmas. So it's quite a nice time of year because it's nice and warm.
Yes,
say
very.
Warm, really hot. Yeah,
Very
it's
hot.
a great time of year for the kids. A lot more summer sports to be done as well.
Number 8 is that it does snow in some places in Australia. So we had no idea that that was the case, because when you see Australia you think of the sandy beaches, the warm weather,
Deserts.
the sunshine, blue skies, and you don't necessarily think of snow. But it does in some places down south, obviously not here in tropical Queensland.
Anyway,
where we
no worries.
just sweat through the year.
Yeah, you definitely sweat pretty, yeah. But yeah, it's not like traditional snow that you think it's powdery snow. I've been told by my sources that it's a bit of an icy sort of snow. So it's not your traditional snow that you think. It's not like the Alps or anything like that.
Right. So it's something that we've not witnessed in Australia yet, but I'm sure one day we will if we ever dare to go south in the winter.
I don't think we'd go skiing. I don't know. I think if we went skiing, we'd probably go to New Zealand, and you guys would be coming with us for that one.
Exciting.
Yes, let the flights begin.
They already have.
Yeah,
Between
don't we
New
have to
Zealand and
quarantine?
Australia. No, I think there's a bubble. Maybe not at the moment because of the recent outbreaks, but generally there's a travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand.
Alright, let's go to New Zealand then.
Last but not least is the rail system here in Australia. We thought it would be different. So coming from Europe, where everything is super connected and you can go anywhere by train, we thought that would be the same in Australia, but it really isn't. It's just not there yet. So if you wanted to travel across the country to say somewhere like Perth, instead of being able to travel by train, you would probably have to take a flight.
Here in Australia, they more rely on the road trains. We'll put a picture of one up for you. You guys that don't know what a road train is, because you might just think it's a train on the road. I know down south they have trams and stuff like that, but yeah, it's not a great railway system yet.
Yeah, not between cities and between different areas.
Yeah, definitely not up this way anyway in Queensland.
Please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next week.
Yeah.
We thought we would tell you about 9 things that we didn't realise before we moved to Australia about Australia.
Yeah, about Australia.
Yeah. So,
Quite a nice time of year because it's nice.
probably have to take a flight, or if you're really like if for some reason you had to drive. Okay, yeah, I'm waffling. Sorry. I'm gonna do that now, showing my jeans that have become a talking point.